Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is LetsTwitch and today we are going over how to code HTML. This is going to be a small series that I'm doing because I don't want to get it too complicated with doing HTML, CSS and all the other different types of coding for websites in one series. So this is specifically designed for HTML. Now, we're not going to be going over how to make Google. One major reason is because when you look at Google's source info, this is what you've got to go off of. Not great, ugly to look at. Still haven't been bothered myself to go figure out what most of this means. But we will be trying to do the basics, and that's what's important, getting the basics down pat, because you need the building blocks to get to know website coding. So if you're watching this, we're not making Google. We're probably not even going to make something as good as, well, don't expect anything good, okay? That's my only thing, is just saying we're not making Google, and we're certainly not making anything advanced. These are the building blocks for website development, HTML. It'll get your information on the page, but it won't do much else. So in this episode, we're going over the structure of a web page. What does everything mean? We know you presumably don't know any code, or if you do, you know very little. So we're going to show you the very basic stuff of how to lay out your web page when you want to make one. So instead of trying Google, we're going to go to a website called example.com, and this is very basic, but it's perfect for what we want to do. Now if you look at the page source, very small, no, definitely not as big as Google, and very well set out. So if we look at this, we begin with the doc type HTML. This is just saying the document is a HTML document, and it should be treated as a HTML document. Next off, we have the beginning tag, as they're called, and this is your HTML tag, and that just starts off the HTML code, followed by your head, which contains your title, your styling, and your meta tags. So your title is what appears up in the tab, up there. So for this, the title is example domain. Then it's followed by the tag, but with a / in front of it, and that's how you end any tag in HTML. This is all CSS, and this isn't really anything we're going to focus on there. So most of this page is something more advanced that I might cover in a future series called CSS, but for now we're sticking to HTML. So next place you want to look is down where the body begins. Now the body is where you put all your text, and it's the page. The page itself is your body. So you have your headers, then your paragraph tags, and then your hyperlinks. And that's about it. And then you end it, and then end HTML, and then that's it. That's the end of the website. And all of that makes this. So we're going to be, for one, making our own version of this website. Not quite as advanced, but close enough. So if you're looking at what you want to use, I'm not exactly certain what you have, but if you have money at your disposal, Adobe Dreamweaver is very useful. I'll be using a more simple one called Notepad++. Even though I do have Dreamweaver, I do like the simpler version of ++. I will leave a link to it in the description along with Dreamweaver. Notepad++ is free, and it is very good for any type of coding, and it's just a good text creator in general. I will attempt to find a Mac one, but I don't know off the top of my head, so I will try and find one and put that in the description if I can find one. If not, you'll have to do your own research. But that's about it. Let's start up Notepad. So Notepad++. Okay, so you can see I have some of my own stuff still here. So we'll open up a new document, save those, and then here we are, brand new page, nothing on it. Okay, where do we start? Well, first off, we need to tell the computer that it is a doc type HTML. So we type that in. This is the only tag that doesn't need to be ended. It's just telling the computer what it is. Next up, we have the HTML tag. Fairly standard. And then you have the head tag. And then finally, because we don't really need to put much in the head tag, all I'll ask you to do is copy this here, the meta tags, and put them in just for now. Not going to explain why, because it's kind of advanced and I don't want to confuse you with this, but that if you ever want to make a web page, just take those meta tags and put them in. If you notice, these ones are self-closing, which means you don't have to have the whole separate tag saying and meta. There's none of that because it's self-closing, which just has a slash before the end. Moving on, we'll end the head here with /head and begin the body. So this is your body, and this is where everything all your information is going to go. Not very complicated as of yet, but still very important to know. We're certainly not making Google here, and we're certainly not making example.com, but nonetheless, this information is very important. Moving on, we're going to put in our body, for now, our header. Now we put H1, which is the biggest form of header, and then you can type what you want. This is a header. There you go. You've got your header. Now if we quickly save this, and we'll put it in a folder I like to call websites, and we'll name this tutorial-html. And here we'll call it the basics. If you want to follow suit and do this as well, I would recommend it. But if not, and you want to try and remember all this, probably not the best thing you could do. I do recommend getting it all down. If you do notice, I have done that as well in my websites, where I've put in my different chapters of HTML and CSS and that sort of thing, and they've got all my notes on it and how to do it. So if I do forget, I can always go look in there to see how it works. So we'll save. Now what we'll do is we'll open it, and we'll go to my websites tutorial, and we'll open with Google Chrome, my personal favorite, and there you go. As of present, we haven't set a title, so it will say the basics.html, but if you notice, we have in a big font, this is a header. Okay, good, we've got text on a page. Yay, that's a website, everybody. Not exactly the most pleasing website ever, but it's a website. So moving on, we'll go back to this, and we'll add our title. So you can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it, I like to have everything evenly spaced. Title, the basics. Okay, there we go. So now, if we Control S, tab back, and do F5 on Windows, you'll notice it has now changed to the basics instead of being the basics.html. Not a big change, but still very important to have. I wouldn't exactly want to see google.html. Be a bit weird. Okay, so just for reference, you can also have H2. if you notice when we do it, it's slightly smaller, like I said. Go again, H3. Do it again, smaller. And smaller still. Oh, almost forgot to save. Okay, how far can we go? H5. It's even smaller. Can we go to H6? Oh, almost forgot to save. Even smaller. And finally, H7. Hint, hint, might be the last one. Oh, interesting that it did that. Not sure what happened there. Has reset to paragraph text because it doesn't go below 6. So, there you go. Those are all your headers, starting at biggest, smaller, 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 smaller to below that. And that is default text. It won't go below H6. And when you do H7, it just resets to a paragraph tag. Okay, so what's a paragraph tag? Good question. We'll do that right now. So your tag is P, meaning paragraph, and in here you can type stuff. This is a paragraph. Oh god. Yay, that's not how you do. Yep. Anyway, so now if we type back in, it's paragraph tag. So that's pretty much it for your basic layout. Thank you all for watching this first episode. That's really it. And to conclude, we will of course end our body and then end HTML. And that's it for a website. You now have the very basics of how to make a website. In the next episode, I'll cover some little modifications for your text to make it look cool and that sort of thing, like line breaks and your text decoration such as underline and bold and italic. That's enough for this episode though. If you want, go practice this. Just try and make sure you grasp how it works. I would recommend making notes like I did when I was trying to learn it. It's very helpful when you need to go back and look at it because you won't memorize it instantly. I've started to get better and better, and I now know most of the tags off by heart, but it is definitely helpful when you're starting out to make sure you have on hand the very basics. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. See you guys in the next one.